that checklist does not equal the progress that you're looking for.
Why did you leave Antwerp or the life in Belgium mostly in the first place?
Over the first couple of years, I was so dedicated and obsessed with the business I was building and everything I wanted to do that I didn't really have any social life next to it. There's a quote, progress equals happiness. And I always used to take that quote and think, if I check off my list, that's progress. But if it's a pointless list, you're not progressing. After a long time, you start to see and you have to zoom out and you start to see like, hey, you're not really moving forward at all. The certainty that the checklist creates, like the objectivity and like the certainty, if I have this checklist done, then I get this result, that fades away after a long time. That checklist does not equal the progress that you're looking for. Being so stuck in doing the checklist every day and sacrificing everyone and everything to get the checklist done, gets like a mind fuck.
All right, guys. All right. Welcome, guys, to the 4th episode of the Raw Life podcast. Of course, the #1 podcast in the world and the rawest podcast. No question about that. Today, we have our first real special guest after having Passion Fruit on the podcast. The guest of today is nobody less than Jens Vandenbroeke. I consider him as a brother of mine. He's a very fascinating human being to me. He is, I think he's very inspiring. He has very interesting stories. He also is very dedicated to what he does. This will be a 2-part series, so 2 episodes. And yeah, we'll have interesting things to talk about. So he's a trader. He's also an educator for traders, and he's also living off-grid at this moment since, I guess, about half a year.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you, bro. Thank you for coming on the show. I've got the chance to spend the week with you the past week, and I've really enjoyed it. And as you can see, we are at the beautiful coast of Bali. No, I'm just kidding. We're at the beautiful coast of Peniche.
Yeah,
Peniche, close to Lisbon in Portugal. And it's beautiful here. So yeah, I'm really happy to be here with you, and I'm really excited for the episode as well and to dive into the things we want to talk about. Let's get right into it. My first question is, what is the meaning of life? I was just kidding. I'm just kidding.
That's a crazy question, bro.
So, no, before we start, yeah. So just a little bit of context where we're shooting. We're shooting from the coast of Portugal because you're living off-grid, close by.
Yeah.
So how did you end up here?
We're not technically not off-grid because we still have electricity on grid. We still have water and stuff like that. But it's a cool project that we're working on, where the goal is to be able to live off of the land. And it's something that my dad actually inspires me to go into that, because his dream was always to create a place on earth where everything's good, right? Nowadays, the world is going a lot of places, a lot of things are happening, and a lot of people are scared, And I think maybe a part of it comes from being scared. But if you have the opportunity to buy some land, to get to a place and to be able to live in complete freedom off of what that land produces, I think that's a beautiful thing. So that is initially the goal, has been the goal of my dad for a long time. And he made that step a couple of years ago to really move here to Portugal. And I basically followed him 6 months ago. Yeah.
That's awesome. So it might seem like a scary step. Did you feel scared at first, or did your parents feel scared to take this step?
I can't speak for them. I don't know how they felt. I think my dad was mainly excited, but at times it can be a scary thing. For me, I felt stuck in a lot of ways, personal, in business, etc., etc. And we were running offices with the business that we do, and it was all cool. But I really felt stuck in a lot of ways living in Belgium. And I always thought I needed to be on the location to be able to work, to be able to have a social life, to be able to do whatever I want to do, right? And I always held on to that thought. And letting go of that thought might be, a little scary. But at a point, I was like, whatever I do now, I just need to do something else, because the place where I was not really a place where I wanted to be. So from there, I was like, okay, let's just completely shift it around. And if I don't like it, I don't like it. But I must say the first 6 months, I really enjoy it. Even though people around here, the locals, say it was the worst winter in like 20 years, I still enjoyed being here and living on the land, and coming from a busy city life where every minute matters, and you're always rushing, and you're always living very fast, to now just waking up, walking the dogs, doing my focused work, working on the land and enjoying. That's a very different thing. Yeah.
Man, I'm so happy to see that, because I've really seeing you the past week and experiencing it myself. It's been a blessing, because it just feels like a relief stepping away from Belgium, from Antwerp specifically, or just the environment in general, to this environment. It's just more relaxed, and it helps me focus as well. It's just a very healthy environment to live in, and you feel much more relaxed, more present, more aware. And I noticed in you as well, compared to, I've known you for 6 years, something like 6 years. And I definitely feel a shift in you as well, you're more relaxed and more present, and there's no rush here. And I really like that, I really admire that. So for me, that's something inspiring. And we've been doing awesome stuff. We've been throwing axes, we've been cutting the bushes, we're just walking around the whole area, and it's just a huge area that you guys have.
Yeah.
There's a lot of nature, there's hills, we'll show some videos as well. There's a lot of cool stuff, and I'm looking forward into getting deeper into what the future will look like on the off-grid permit to the future. But before we go into that, I want to get a little bit deeper into knowing you, because I think it's very interesting for the viewers that don't know you to understand a little bit better who you are. So in order to understand who you are today, what are the most essential elements we have to know?
Wow. That's an interesting question. I'm not prepared, for the viewers to know. I didn't get anything I'm just sitting down, getting questions thrown at me. So.
Yeah, I basically forced him to do this, so he had no choice, and he's
there is a gun over there, you're gonna do this.
Exactly.
No. But everything I'm gonna share is nothing prepared, so
it's totally
I might
unscripted.
have to think about that. Can you repeat the question?
So, of course, in order to understand who you are today, what are the most essential elements about Jens we need to know?
I think that answer can be that question can be answered in different ways, because the perspective of what I think is me, someone else will probably have a different perspective, right?
But what is your perspective?
Yeah, and I think if people describe themselves, they will always try to describe what they want to be rather than what they really are. So it's always going to be a bit biased, of course, but I think I'm someone that tries to be as disciplined as possible, tries to never make excuses. I'm too stubborn to give up. My ego doesn't let me or allow me to give up on things that I start. And at the same time, I think I don't have a big ego when it comes to, thinking too big of myself. I don't think that is really me. I get described as a pretty humble and calm person. But I'm someone that if I go for something, I go for it all in, and I never make excuses, and I never really back down of the things that I want to do. And that sounds like a good trait, but also has downsides to it, because you give a lot of the other things in life you tend to push away, right? Like private relationships or connections you have with people or family. A lot of people that want to achieve something make sacrifices. And I think it's necessary to make sacrifices. But I also learned that along the way, you don't want to sacrifice life to get certain success, whatever success may be, right? So yeah, I think that's a pretty good understanding of who I am, what I stand for. Is just really never giving up, always keep it pushing. But now living here is less, like you said, less rapid, more calm, more relaxed. But at the same time, I'm also not just chilling here, right? It's not that I'm like just walking the dogs all day. I just feel like in the past, in Belgium, for example, I used to work 12, 16 hours on the laptop. And at the end of the day, I just felt like I was running in circles, not achieving anything, not getting forward, not really moving. And now here I can work for 2 or 3 hours and I get more work done than I used to get done in Belgium for, working the whole day. So I think that's a big shift that I made from the workaholic, sacrificing everything and really going all in, obsessed with what I wanted to achieve, to now more being, I don't like to use the word balanced, but more like there's more harmony in the things that I want to do and the things that I enjoy in the moment. I think in the past I always lived in the future, never in the present. And I try to live more in the present, be more present,
Did you see an effect on the things that you're describing, living more in peace, in harmony, being more calm, being more focused? Did you see an effect of that changed certain areas in your life?
For sure, for sure.
And what are those elements that changed?
I think every element in your life will basically changes, because you're changing your behavior. And I really believe that the quality of your life is mainly dedicated or decided by the behavior that you have on a daily basis. So if you're going to change your habits, your behavior, your daily way of thinking, of course that's gonna change your life, your results in terms of the success you want to achieve, your health in terms of the rest that you give your body. I used to work out 14 times a week, like two workout sessions a day, and then I would get like 5 hours of sleep and be surprised why I'm sore and not moving and stiff and going slow. And I used to like just keep pushing. But I feel like now at the place where I'm at now, I've been sick this week, so I haven't really worked out at all, but I'm not bothered about it. I used to be so stressed, like, oh, I'm not doing what I said I would do, I'm not working out like I said I would. And just those negative thoughts alone would do more harm than not doing it, So I think there's a good, more harmony in that, more balance in that, and it's more healthy. But it's more subjective, and I think that's what made it hard for me in the beginning. Is I wanted to have everything very objective, like you need to have something to hold on to, right? Like we say, a rock to hold on to. Okay, if I do this workout, then I'll get that result. If I do this work, then I'll earn this money. If I do this, and it's like, and obsessed. And then when something of those checklists, that you don't check, if it doesn't happen, then you're not sure about the result that's going to come, right? But it's very transactional. And once you really start to enjoy what you're doing, it's less transactional, it's more fulfilling. And I think you still need to have that ambition to really go for it. You can't just give yourself the excuse because, oh yeah, I'm living a more chill life. I don't really believe in that. But just being obsessed with a transactional mindset is definitely not what was healthy for me.
So it might be valuable, I think, from what I'm understanding, is to ask yourself, I've gone through this process myself, and I think what I'm getting out of this is asking yourself, like, what are you really trying to achieve? So let's say you're on a path to, in your case, becoming a trader, a professional trader, a profitable trader, or it might be something else. It might be something in business, it might be something in sports, whatever it be. And we might, I also experienced this where I got so caught up in checking off the list, checking off the things. If I didn't do this, I'm not.
Your day's ruined.
My day's ruined. I'm not making progress. I'm a sucker. I'm losing in life, and I should give up. I should quit. I should. It's all bad, but it's not the case. That's just a subconscious thought process. So it's cool to see that we're able to learn to question what it really is that we think that is valuable, and instead of just like assuming that checking off the list is the only thing that's valuable, that's fulfilling to your process, and that will get you to where you want to be. That's just not the case. What for me, what I've got to understand more is that it's about doing what you like to do, of course, doing what you believe in yourself, and doing something that's worth spending your time to, and not just going through the motion, living subconsciously on autopilot, doing the same thing every day, falling into a repeat. And what I've seen from the outside, from an outsider watching onto your life, I feel like that since the period that you started living more of grit and started detaching from your old life, for me personally, I've seen more and more success coming into your life. So to me, that's confirmation. And I've experienced it myself as well, but watching you, that's also a confirmation that it's worth being mindful of where we attach value to. So I'm happy to see that. Mm-hmm. And I can also only confirm that what you said in the beginning about you being humble. You're very humble. You're for sure one of the most humble human beings I know in my close surroundings, and you are super dedicated. I remember back in the day when I was in the business with you, I always looked up to you because you were working all the time. You were that guy, that young, stubborn guy that was not giving up, and still is not giving up. You're just going, you're not quitting. People around you might quit in what they're doing, but even though you see people falling off, you keep pushing through. And some people might have different opinions or might have other opinions about what it is that you're doing. We'll get into that later. But to me, you cannot take away the fact that it's just very inspiring that what you do with a heart, with passion, and to me, that's what's raw life about, really. So sure. That's really inspiring. So just about getting a little bit deeper into getting into this off-grid life, why did you leave Antwerp or the life in Belgium mostly in the first place?
I think the main thing was basically over the first couple of years, I was so dedicated and obsessed, like I mentioned, with the business I was building and everything I wanted to do, that I didn't really have any social life next to it. You know, I had a great social life inside of that because there's a great community, and you know, you see a lot of people on a daily basis. So it didn't really bother me. There was no real social life outside of it. So there is nothing that hold me back in terms of like social life other than close family, you know? And then if I just put it on a scale, like, okay, what's weighing through more, what's weighing through heavier, the feeling stuck and just staying in this stuck situation for another year, just, you know, running circles and every month felt like the same month. I think that's also, people say, or there's a quote, progress equals happiness, right? And I always used to take that quote and think, if I check off my list, that's progress. But if it's a pointless list, you're not progressing, right? So you get the dopamine hit of, oh, I checked off my list today, and you go to sleep, but like, and maybe you feel fulfilled for a second, but it's after a long time, you start to see, and you have to zoom out and you start to see like, hey, you're not really moving forward at all. So that's when the certainty that the checklist creates, like the objectivity and like the certainty, if I have this checklist done, then I get this result, that fades away after a long time because, or doesn't even need to be a long time, but after time that starts to fade away because the long-term thing starts to expose itself that checklist does not equal the progress that you're looking for, right? So I think being so stuck in doing the checklist every day and sacrificing everyone and everything to get the checklist done, but then not seeing the progress, because I was doing that I was working on that for years, not seeing the progress in the long term, that's, gets like a mind fuck. I don't know if I can swear on the on the podcast. That's like a real, mind-boggling thing. So I think just feeling so stuck, while some results were definitely happening, I couldn't complain, but I was not grateful enough. I was not real I wanted to be. I was like, let's just change things up. And then I also like the vision of my father. He was like, I want to create a place on earth where if shit hits the fan, you can come there, and I love that. So I was like, let's do that
And it
together.
seems like shit is about to hit the fan.
It seems like we can talk about a lot of those things too, but it seems like shit is about to hit the fan. Now, whenever it can, I'll just eat a potato and a tomato off the land for a couple of years.
It's not bad.
And we'll see what the world does, you know? So yeah, that's the main thing for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, just going through the motion and attaching value to checking off the list, when you start a journey, like when you start something in business, when you start as an entrepreneur, or you start a new career, or you start a new venue, or you start a career in trading, you start a journey into becoming a profitable trader, you don't know what you need to do in order to become the person that you have to be successful at that specific venue or specific activity. So, I mean, it's also, you can blame yourself for just doing things with a blindfold and just because someone else tells you have to do this and this and this, because that person is exactly where you want to be. So if he tells you you have to do this and this and this in that order, it's logical to assume that you're just going on to autopilot. You don't want to think about it, because if you start questioning everything, then you might like start to spin off and things become uncertain. So we start to just assume that what I say is true, but there we lose touch with a kind of piece of mindfulness and the part of our brain that it has the ability to question things. And it doesn't mean that you have to question everything that someone else is saying, but I think we always should stay mindful about what it is that we're doing and how we are performing in life, how we are feeling, and trying to, which is very hard for me. Like, I think it's a lifelong journey to put the pieces of the puzzle together, but trying to stay mindful about what it is that you're doing and just not going on autopilot, and just like questioning, does this make sense what I'm doing? Is this really working? Just, you don't want to lose touch of that part. You want to make sure you're able to keep questioning what you're doing. And that's probably like one of the major benefits that you get from being here as well. You put yourself in an environment where you have the ability to be very mindful, because there's way less distractions and you can, it's way easier to question things.
You have more like an outside perspective on everything.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely.
I think what you're mentioning is, it comes down to what we call coachability, right? So, oh yeah, person A has this result, drives this car, has this amount of income or whatever, and he says I should do A, B, and C to get there. So in the term of coachability, I should just blindly go follow it. Now, I started this whole thing at 18 years old, zero experience. So what I do, I start blindly following it.
Just maybe for context, how old are you? Right?
24.
24.
So now it all comes down at the end, who are you following? Who's leading you, right? Because first of all, you think this person has a result that you also want to have, but what appears to be is not always true. So do you really know the person? Do you really have a connection? Now, I'm not saying you should be best friends with someone before you can start following them and be coachable. No, but you also need to be critical about who you follow, because nowadays I remember people skipping everything, and I was a product of that too. Skipping funerals, skipping a wedding, skipping all of that to be at a meeting. Like, and I look back at that and I'm like, who was I following, you know? Because those people say, da, 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 da. And those people get stuff done, don't get me wrong, but at the cost of what? Are you willing to make that same sacrifice, right? And in the past, I definitely made sacrifices that I look back at and I'm like, that sacrifice wasn't worth it, right? And okay, it got me to the point where I am today. I'm super grateful for everything, you know, so I wouldn't do anything differently or like want to change anything. But towards the future, I do learn from those lessons and go differently about them. So now I follow people like, for example, the owners of the company I work with. That's an amazing couple. They're very God-centered, for example. They're just amazing human beings. Like, they're amazing people in every area of life. They don't talk about numbers. They don't talk about millions. They don't talk about whatever. They just talk about, hey, how are you doing, right? They're like, hey, I want you to have fun here. They're like really there to impact people and not to be on the stage and be the person. And I think that shift in the person you follow will automatically translate into how you will act, because you're being so coachable. And I used to be blindly coachable to people that really didn't have the life I want. And it looked like they did because they looked good on social media, but it wasn't what it, looked like, because they had a shitty relationship or whatever. Nothing against those people, but personally, but that's just really a lesson I learned, for sure. Who you follow determines where you end up.
So I'm quickly gonna reset the cams. All right. Ja, wil jij nog iets doen?
Ja, kan.
All right.
And to add to that, in who you follow, right? I used to start buying courses to do e-com in 2017 or something. And to get on a one-on-one call was like 200, 300 euros for a 30-minute call, right? So then you follow someone that if you want to meet them, if you want to talk to them, you have to pay all this money. Now then I used to follow people that would sacrifice their whole private life just to achieve another promotion or achieve another whatever. And now, for example, 2 weeks ago, I believe, I was in Lisbon with a guy that flew over from Mexico. And he's 10 times more successful than all the other people combined in any like measurement of success you can have, from the monetary to how fulfilled he lives his life to everything. He just landed from a 24-hour trip because his flight got totally screwed, whatever. And instead of going to sleep, he was like, hey, I'm spending one evening in Lisbon. And I was in that same evening, I was spending one evening in Lisbon too. He's like, hey, let's grab some food, right? And he was just in his chill clothes, nothing stressed, nothing too worried, just talking about, not even about, oh, let's get to this next thing in business, blah, blah, blah. Just talking about life, right? But he's more successful than, so that's an interesting thing for me. I met some other people in Paris also 2 weeks ago. Had a great conversation with one of the German entrepreneurs, and I can describe, I don't even know in numbers, but the success that he has is insane, and a lot of them, and also super humble. Like, here's my phone number. If you need anything, just give me a call. Like, how? My mind can't really comprehend that, because I'm still thinking in the way of, oh, he has a certain, whatever, success, amount of money, businesses all over the world, whatever. So he's up here, I'm down here, right? There is a gap. He comes to me, he's like, never define a person by his finances. You are as worthy with $0 or $1 billion. Because he knows multiple billionaires that are miserable, right? So those perspectives really taught me a lot, from conversations to connections to, and that's why people ask me, why are you like traveling all over and doing all that? It's to be in those rooms, those places with those people, to have those conversations, because those conversations really give breakthroughs on how you view life, instead of just going workaholic for the next dollar or the next euro or the next promotion or the next recognition or whatever. No, they're like, they don't want the recognition. They don't want to be on the stage. They will have, they will go on the stage to to make the impact because they want to make the impact. But actually, they would rather talk to someone one-on-one than talk to 1,000 people on the stage.
I get it, and it also assumes like putting people up there and putting yourself lower. I used to struggle with this myself, and sometimes I still do, but I'm a bit more mindful about it now. But it also assumes that you're less worthy than the person you're comparing yourself with, and that's like probably not a super healthy thing to do, because it assumes that you're not worthy of being in that position. And as long as you have that mindset, that belief, it is very hard to get to that position. So you don't want to compare yourself to someone else based on status or how many followers they have or how much money they have. No, what kind of person are they? I think that's an interesting thing to look or to see in a person. But we're all just human. We're all just made out of flesh, and some people might. I mean, we're all just monkeys, right? At the end, at least. We spoke about it yesterday. Maybe we're not monkeys. Maybe we're crafted by alien design. I actually watched the Joe Rogan podcast last night. Okay, this is fun. This is a fun story. Last night I went to sleep, and I just wanted to put on some music to go to sleep. And I looked at my Spotify and I saw a new episode of Joe Rogan. I love Joe Rogan. He's an inspiration of mine. I put him way there. I'll probably forever do, because he's just Joe Rogan, of course. And there's a new episode with Bob Lazar, the one and only, the most viewed episodes of the Joe Rogan Experience. And I think any podcast ever in history, more than Donald Trump, more than Elon Musk. Bob Lazar is the number one. And there's a second episode that just got released yesterday with Bob Lazar. I was like, I gotta watch this. And they talk about things, stuff like that were basically probably, there's a possibility that we're not evolved from monkeys, from Homo sapiens, but we could be designed by alien crafts, because there's asymmetry in the way humans have evolved, because we're just such a unique, specific kind of animal that is just outperforming every other animal by such a large degree. Animals, sharks, they just eat fish. Dogs, they just eat their food, they just shit and they go walk and they're happy. A goldfish, they just swim in a bowl, they eat a bit, they shit a bit, and that's about it. And it seems like that we're capable of a lot more things. And so, just a quick side note, there's room for that on the Raw Life podcast.
Yeah.
But
those topics you can talk hours about.
For sure.
Like, how were the pyramids made, and like, are there aliens? And
it's interesting. It's fun.
It's
fun to talk about.
It's interesting. Now,
we don't know shit, but and you probably don't end up anywhere with those conversations. But it's just fun to talk about.
And that's the main thing is, I used to watch a lot of those podcasts, but then I was like, in the obsessed. I only have 24 hours a day. I need to get stuff done for the future.
The system is against us.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, I see a lot of people diving deep into rabbit holes of, how the system is against you, and that might all be true, but all the hours you're spending on diving deep into that is not you working towards the solution, right?
Yeah.
So I don't really know a lot about those kind of topics. I know like a surface level. I know pretty much, a lot of things about the banking system and stuff. I really studied that for my trading background, of course. But other than that, I didn't really study a lot of the things that like history and all of it, but because I didn't see the value in that. But now I start to see more of the value in that, because I'm, more oriented to learning a lot about life in general, and not only about what can I learn now, a skill, a thing, or whatever, to get more success, right? And that's a big shift. That's a big change. But I do believe a lot of people lose themselves in those kind of rabbit holes, and then blah blah blah. But they don't change anything about it. Right? Come move to Portugal, like come do whatever. Like let's create something, instead of just being all frustrated and distracted.
It might feel like some sort of enlightenment because you learned something about the system and whatever darkness
Yeah.
or shady things are going on.
Yeah.
But at the
It's
end,
like dopamine, like,
it's
oh yeah,
dopamine,
I
for
got
sure.
them, bro.
Yeah, fuck
They
yeah.
still got you, bro.
Yeah, you just got caught by the system.
Yeah.
That's what I want. That's what I want. But yeah, it's just a distraction at the end. But I mean, we're on a podcast, so now, but just by talking about it, we talked about Joe Rogan. I can put him in the thumbnail. I can put him in the title. So it's good clickbait, bro. I gotta say, it's
We
good
got
clickbait.
Joe Rogan on the podcast.
Yeah,
I'm always there.
yeah.
Working on getting bald.
He was there, but now he's here. We're almost at the equal level. So, was there a specific moment that you felt really intrigued or kind of awakened, or that you felt like I kind of, in a way, need to redesign my life? It's time to possibly make a radical shift in the way I'm living, which led you to living off grid. Was there a specific moment that you had this insight?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely when I was, I think people make those kind of decisions way too late. I think we hold on way too long to things that we see are not working out, from lifestyles to businesses to relationships to whatever. I think in every area of life, and it might be a good thing because sometimes they might still work out, but a lot of times, it's just not that. So for me, that was really when some of the stuff that happened with one of the offices that we ran with our community. Like we used to like rent offices and just have like 30 people in a community, and we all just bundle money together. We rent a cool office, we work together, we network, and it's great, right? But then some people fall off, some people quit because no one is working for one another. We're just working together on this thing, learning stuff, networking, learning about online income streams and interesting topics. But then some people quit, some people fall off, and whatever. You start with 30 or 50 or even more, and you end up with 5. So, and then electricity bill hits you, and then this happens and that happens, and those kind of things, start to happen. And I just started to see like, this is just only stress to get the finances in order, stress to make sure that everything is fixed, to do all the cleaning, the maintenance, the everything. So that was one thing where I realized like, why keep doing this? It's just very expensive, and that was it. So, and then along with not really, if you have that, but you're still growing in other, like maybe your community is still growing, or maybe you see crazy results that need the physical location, that's good, right? And for me, trading doesn't need the physical location, and the community that we're building, we can build that online and offline, so we can do the combination. It's like we don't need a 24/7 available office. We can work together at a coffee shop, like a coffee bar or whatever. So
Smoking weed.
yeah, coffee shop is not what I meant. We don't have that in Belgium, but no, like a coffee bar or like hotel lobbies, or you can come together anywhere.
For sure.
And it doesn't need to cost thousands a month to run it, and all the headache and all the stress. So that's one of the things. And then I think a lot of personal stuff, things that happens along the way where you're like, you just want to do something else. You feel like you tried everything, right? Especially if you have like a very, I want to say flexible, but I'm looking for another word. Yeah, let's say flexible. A life that's very, changing rapidly, changing life. You don't have a 9 to 5. You don't have like the routine that a lot of people have. You just one week you might be doing a tour, doing networking events in Belgium. The other week you might be at the office the whole week. The other week you might be in another country doing meetings there. So life is very all around. And at a certain point you're at like one location and you feel like, okay, the results are just going in a circle. Results are good, but there's no further progress. So let's change something.
Awesome. What's the most beautiful part of what's a beautiful thing that now living this lifestyle here in Portugal, living off-grid, living in nature, building your own living space, building your own livestock. What's one of the things that are so beautiful that people do not see from the outside, or that you do not expect being an outsider of this?
I don't know. What you don't see from the outside. I think it's just the little things you don't see from the outside. It's the morning walk with the birds chippering, and it's just the little things, I think. Yeah, for sure. Because from the outside you think, oh, he's cutting trees all day and he's building his own gym and whatever.
Isn't he going backwards? He's living like a caveman.
Yeah, I'm more so living like a caveman. That's true. But I think there's two. Yeah, I don't know what you don't see from the outside because I'm on the inside of it.
Well, I guess it's mostly experiential.
Yeah,
So-
for sure. You gotta be there to experience it.
For sure. Like being in this environment, living in this environment, that's where you really get to understand the value of detaching from your old environments, detaching from a hectic Western civilization that's full of distractions, full of impulses.
Mm-hmm.
Just having the chance to come here, to live here, do things in nature. I mean, we cut the bushes, we worked in nature, we throwing axes, all fun stuff, and we're also working. But that combination seems to be
Yeah.
just very healthy.
Actually, one thing you said this week is one of the most rewarding things is creating in that regard. So I think that's maybe a thing that you don't really see from the outside, but I believe we are made to create, right? I wasn't the best at school, to be honest, not because I'm stupid or dumb, or not because I have a low IQ, but I feel like everyone in school always just remembered some information, put the information on a paper, and then deleted the information. And I don't think that's what we're made for. I think we have notebooks nowadays, we have smartphones, we have all the other stuff that we can use to save information, and we can actually use our brain to create, right? To create stuff, to build things, to do problem solving, to learn. And I think the most cool way of learning, especially if we're doing a lot of gardening work, right? A lot of, like you said, cutting bushes, cutting trees, building a fence, and it's all stupid stuff, but it comes from the imagination. There was no gym where you worked out yesterday. There was no gym there a couple months ago. But I was like, hey, there are some trees here that we need to get rid of. Let's cut them and let's make a bench press. Let's make a dip bar. Let's make a pull-up bar. And I did that with a friend of mine that lived here for a month. So those are things you create and you get rewarded. That's more like...
You did it with Gerrit, right?
Yeah, with Gerrit.
Shout out to Gerrit.
Shout out to Gerrit, for sure.
It is for sure the coolest gym I've ever worked out at.
It's a great
for sure.
gym. It's like
awesome.
a jungle gym in Tulum.
Yeah,
This is like the forest gym in Portugal.
yeah. I gotta take some footage because I want to show the viewers.
For sure,
It's very cool.
Let's do that. Now, I think there is a lot of instant gratification going on nowadays. People want to get food, they want to order it and get it in 30 minutes. People want to get dopamine, whatever, they go to short form content, they go to whatever. Our attention span is diminishing. We get instant dopamine hits with everything in life all the time. And I think that's not a real constructive way to go towards a fulfilling life or happiness or whatever you want to label that or call it. I think real fulfillment and happiness, etc., comes from delayed gratification. But every time I work out, for me, it's like a delayed gratification of like, this is a cool thing, right? And I might be working out in the rain, bench pressing while rain is like falling in my face and whatever, and you would be frustrated in that. And sometimes I kind of am, but
Fuck, I don't want to train. I don't want to do this.
But at the end of the day, you're working out in your gym that you made from trees and logs, and like that's just, you get rewarded and fulfilled every day just by doing that, right? And having the creative ability to go out and having a piece of land, we're basically living real life Minecraft at this point, where you just, okay, we can't build just anything by law, of course, because there's like a natural area too, protected area. So we can't like start building crazy buildings, but just with trees and stuff, it's like a boy's dream,
Yeah.
just building stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's also very rewarding, and that reward calms you down a lot, where you can live a more calm life and where you can be more productive when it comes to work, when it comes to any business or any venture you want to succeed in.
If there's a definition of raw life, I think you just got to see the gym. That's just a definition of raw life. That's raw life for sure.
And this winter was raw life.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. You guys have some like serious storms and
serious
things
storms.
broken down.
Yeah, we have.
So that's also one of the challenges. You build things up, but it also can get broken down, and you got to fix it yourself again.
And that can be frustrating too. But then cleaning it up is also rewarding in a way. We had one tree fall on the cabin, so that my dad built a cabin about a year ago, and it's great. It's like really like just self-made. We just get some wood, get some stuff. We build a cabin. it's cool. But one tree fell on, so that was not good. Then a part of the land completely flooded because of all the rain and the storms. Was crazy. Some of the locals, they really said it's the worst storm we had in 50 years. Haven't seen this in the last 50 years, and they've been living here for like 80 years, right? So I think they know. But it was some crazy stuff, and that also comes with expenses, and building a new woodshed, building a new garden shed. The pumps of the pool are probably completely screwed. We still gotta check that, and the good thing is that we didn't plant too many veggies and too many fruits in the area where there's a lot of floods, because we're building a greenhouse there. But if there's another flood when we are planting, then you have other problems, right? But those are problems that need to be fixed, and I think really problem solving and being creative with that is a very rewarding way of living.
I really liked the creative part, because living in this area, we've been imagining and talking about creative ideas, like you can do this with the environments. You could put a power plant there. You could put batteries there from Tesla cars. You can power them by solar. You can basically do the whole environment. You can power the whole environment in the future just by solar energy, or maybe geothermal energy, or you can put you can just get infinite water from if you drill deep enough into the ground.
Yeah.
You get mineral water from the ground. And we had all these creative ideas, and these ideas that you guys have about future projects. So it also puts your mind into a creative space where you can dream, where you have this land that you can build stuff, and that's exciting. That's cool, because you wanna get to work, you wanna do stuff, you wanna do things, and
it stays exciting too.
It stays exciting, and you don't have the luxury that you have in a normal home that we have in Belgium, but that puts you into this kind of primal state where you have to be creative, and it is exciting to think about stuff. It is exciting to take ownership of the things that you want to create, and because you have to. But it's also fun. It is exciting, and in an environment where every need is met, you don't have this creative activity in your brain, and yeah, that's just really fascinating.
I feel like everything felt really finite to me. When what I mean by that is everything had like the end. So just need to get this done and then I'll be happy. Or I'll just need to get that goal done, that result, that, like, there was always the end mark, the finite thing. And I feel like now it's more like an infinite or infinite, whatever, I don't know. It's more like an infinite thing where we're basically planting trees that are not gonna, maybe for my lifetime, probably they're gonna still, give some fruits, but it's done with the vision that you're doing things that you're not even gonna benefit from yourself. But it's still super exciting, like the conversations we had yesterday. We have those conversations every day. Like, oh yeah, and then you do research. Oh, we can use a car battery to charge a caravan or like a trailer, whatever, and we can use all that and combine it, and you're just like creating,
You can organize activities, you can build a jiu-jitsu school.
Yeah, you can do basically everything.
You can have cattle, you can have horses.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
so cool.
I want to, yeah, that's one of the big things I really want to have is horses. But I don't think the land is ready for that yet, like the infrastructure we have. You just don't want to get horses, right? Want to make sure everything's good. But that will be a big thing for sure.
It is beautiful.
Imagine coming around here 7 o'clock in the morning.
I mean,
running on the beach with the horses.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you should just be able to experience this basically because it's so beautiful. The waves are amazing. This is one of the, this is actually a golden nugget. Like you have close by Nazareth.
Nazareth, yeah.
Nazareth, yeah. It's a very famous surfing spot.
Yeah.
But here in Peniche, if I can say, it's just a golden nugget because it's way less crowded and you have just the waves are amazing.
Yeah, Nazareth is very, very known for the world competitions that go on there. Those waves get like 20, 30 meters, I don't know. Those are the biggest waves in the world, probably, or close to it. So that attracts a lot of attention. But 30 minutes down, you have, for example, Peniche, Baleal, like all those beaches here. They have still very good waves, especially for like beginner surfing. But they're less crowded. There's less tourism, less of that.
What's the hardest part of living off grid that people online don't get to see?
I think it's the isolation, in my opinion. Now that's not just about the off-grid part. That's also me. I'm the type of person, I can be on the land and then get off for a month. Like, I don't have any issue with that, right? But it's just me, my 2 dogs, my dad, and his wife, So, like, so that's mainly on me because I really enjoy being in my zone. I really enjoy being with the dogs, working a couple hours a day, and working on the land a couple hours a day, getting good food, enjoying the sun. Like, I really enjoy that. And I'm not really that social. Maybe that's the wrong wording. I'm very introvert, I think. Not really extrovert, trying to go out every week or trying to go for a drink or whatever. So I don't really meet a lot of people in the area, to be honest, because I just really enjoy it. But after a while, that really gets very isolated. And by the time you feel like, oh, this is very isolated, you're going out with the wrong intention, in my opinion. Then, oh, now I'll go for a drink because I feel lonely, right? That kind of feels weird. So that's one thing I have to do more is just going out, connecting with people in the area, getting to know people, and not just being in my bubble, in my, on the land. I think that's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, because you've built all your relationships in Belgium and in Antwerp, and you gotta, in a way, start over again.
Yeah, of course, I still have connection with all of the relationships I have in Belgium and all around the world, and the people that I know. I'm connected through the phone, I'm connected to the laptop. I'm doing calls every day, phone calls, Zoom calls, meetings, whatever. So it's not that I don't have the interaction, but yeah, it's just like you're in a new area, bro. Go out, do something.
Hell yeah.
And sometimes I need to remind myself of that, because if I have my gym, my food, my dogs, and my laptop, and good weather, I'm not going anywhere.
Fuck yeah.
I'm just staying and
Hell
just
yeah.
you know, doing my thing. Yeah.
So, what does the future of your off-grid permit look like?
I don't know. It's looks like a lot. Looks like a lot. We want to do a lot of things. We want to make it accessible for tourists, you know, for tourism, but we don't want that to be the main thing. So we just don't want to just have, or that's, I can speak for myself. I can't speak for the other people on the land, but I think getting tourists there is not the main goal. The main goal is to share whatever we're doing, and to do that you need to get people from the outside there, right? So we definitely want to get workshops going. I have experience with doing workshops in other ventures, so organizing workshops, organizing boot camps that are centered around the off-grid life, around the things that we learned, around what you can do, how you can do it, and then also commercializing that in a certain extent, not too far, but like a certain extent, where people can, for example, buy honey, or like get like, I don't know, a lot of things that we can offer, right? In terms of products, in terms of services. For example, the horses, you can go horse riding with people to check out the area. That's a life-changing experience for a lot of people. But that can also be a source of income for the land to actually build more and create more. So really want to have a dynamic system there. Probably gonna set up a non-profit business for that too, to really, you know, get stuff going and working. But the overall vision is, like I said, is create a place on earth, when shit hits the fan, come over. That's what my dad always says, and I really stick to that. A place where you don't need the outside world, you don't need a bank account, you don't need anything, and you can just be a human, right? And of course, that's emergency situations. It's probably never going to end up in a situation where we really have to work or live off of the emergency necessity, but we want to have the emergency necessity there, just in case. And also for the feeling of, it is a different feeling when you live there, when you are there, you know, the last week, it's a different feeling if you know, like, hey, where are you? And whatever happens outside of this is whatever, it's whatever it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to share about the off-grid project? It's a big project, a lot of things to come. And I gotta say, like, I'm very, very confident. I truly believe that the way things are going now, but how you guys are doing things, like, it's really cool to see the project getting built, and I'm really happy to be able to see it in its begin stages. And I look forward to coming back into the future and seeing the development. And
Yeah.
well, definitely.
Right now it's, bro, right now, my dad said it's going to be a 7-year plan. I think it's going to take a little more than that.
Yeah.
Because he's already 2 years in, 2.5 years, and, you know, we got so much work still to get done. And that's the cool thing, is it's like I said, it's an infinite thing. So like, I need to reach this mark, this goal, this thing. It's a forever thing. So it gets way more calm when you get in that state of mind. And I think, we're gonna see how it evolves, but it's definitely gonna be an amazing journey. And right now it's all based on a vision, an idea. I'm doing my visualizing walks every morning, because I walk through the land with the dogs, and I just see the stuff already. And every day I see different stuff. So, you know, we gotta make some decisions in what we're gonna do. But yeah, you just see the stuff already, and that's such a great way of living. I used to live, wake up, rush to the office, rush. That would be my first hour of the day. Now my first hour of the day is listening to the birds and already visualizing and seeing everything that we want to go create.
Walking with the dogs.
Walking with the dog.
Moby and Bruce.
They're two bastards for sure.
They're bastards. They're so cute. They're so cute.
They're cute. Yeah, that's true.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for doing this. I really enjoyed this. I look forward to the next episodes. Thank you for allowing me to be here to spend the week with you. It's been an amazing time. I learned a lot of things. I've gathered a lot of inspiration as well. So I'm really excited to put this out there. I think it can be very inspiring for other people as well. And we will, when it's edited, I will make sure there's like footage of the environment put in there so people can get a touch of what we're talking about.
For sure.
But I really enjoyed it. I'm really happy to be here, and thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions about this topic, about the things that we spoke about, for sure we will meet up again into the future. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. If you like the episodes, feel free to leave a like, leave a subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you into the next episode. Take care, stay raw, and thank you for watching.
For sure, bro. Maybe this will have to cut in between. But I also want to thank you, bro, for giving me the opportunity to be here, giving me the opportunity to speak on, your platform that you're building. I don't take it lightly, because putting someone in front of, your brand, your platform, your face, online, offline, in general, it takes trust, and it takes a certain level of understanding, connection, respect, So I really appreciate you having me on as a guest speaker, and I'm super grateful to be able to do this together.
I appreciate you saying that, bro, and likewise, you're definitely a human being that I trust deeply. You have had a significant part in the last 6 years of my life. You're definitely a major part in that. So I really want to thank you for that. And I'm very happy we can do this. It's my pleasure, and I look forward to doing this again. Thank you, bro. And we see you in the next episode. Stay raw.